treating whites equally is morally right, actually. Okay? Treating whites the same as others is morally right. I know, it kind of sounds crazy to a lot of people, but let's get into it. So, first, a lot of people actually believe that you can't be racist towards white people, which is insane, but yes, people actually believe this. Um, so it's when you are racist towards white people, or you actually don't believe this, like if you don't believe you can be racist towards white people, that is super dehumanizing. It justifies discrimination, it justifies bigotry, it justifies hatred, it justifies resentment, justifies verbal abuse, because when you say you can't be racist towards someone, they can do racist things towards them, but it doesn't actually count because it's not quote unquote real. Like that's not what racism is. So therefore, I can actually be racist towards you, right? So it itself is racist. So that's one way that white people aren't treated the same is because people believe that you can't be racist towards us. Okay, and then erasing our identity. So first, just erasing identity is bad in general, right? Erasing any people's identity is bad, right? Erasing and redefining any identity is immoral. Saying a white man is not Jewish, right? And any white man that says he's Jewish, that's erasing the Jewish identity. Okay, an African is not Armenian either, right? And nor is an Armenian an African, a Nigerian, right? We have these definitions to define people. It's not. It has to be exclusive, but it's not hateful. Okay, exclusion is not hate. A Han Chinese is not Tibetan. Ask the Dalai Lama how they're doing when the Chinese government sends in Han Chinese to uh, dilute the Tibetan identity. It's not going great. Exclusion is not hatred. Okay, hatred is hatred. Exclusion is exclusion. It defines, right? Exclusion is definitional. To have definitions, you need to exclude things. You have to say what it is. And by saying what something is, you're saying what it isn't, right? So if you erase an identity, you are erasing a people, right? If you erase or even change the identity of what it means to be something, you're changing that thing. You're erasing that thing, right? Like an Irish used to mean 100 years ago, and being Irish meant you were of Irish descent. Okay, your people come from Ireland, and that's how it is. But now anyone who moves there can be considered Irish. That's a huge shift, and that's changing everything, and it's changing people. It's erasing people. It is taking away their identity and their culture, and it's seen wrong when you do it to Native Americans, to Native Hawaiians, to Aboriginals in Australia, right? When you try to erase those identities, it's seen as bad, right? Colonialism was the first multiculturalism, okay? So erasing white identity is bad because erasing identity is bad, and treating whites equal is morally right. So if it's bad to do something to non-whites, like erasing their identity, it is also bad to do to whites. So imagine if a white person did to non-whites what non-whites do to whites. Okay, so if I pretended to be um, some native group, if I pretended to be from the tribe of the Sioux people, and I said, actually, this is what it means to be Sioux, and these are our customs, and these are our beliefs, and this is our language, and yada yada yada, and it was contrary to everything that real Sioux people said, people would say, oh, this white man is trying to replace and appropriate the Sioux identity. This white man is coming in and culturally appropriating the Sioux identity. However, when an Indian, like say Vivek Ramaswamy or Zorhan Mamdani, if these guys come in and they say this is what it means to be American, or you get some people um, in Ireland who are not Irish, they come from Nigeria or anywhere else that isn't Ireland, and they say this is what it means to be Irish, people will applaud them. They'll say, "Oh yes, you're right. That's what it means to be Irish." Right? But why is one okay and one's not? Okay, this is what I mean by just treat white people equally. If I went to India and not even born in India, right? And I said, actually, this is what it means to be Indian. And it means being Christian. It means reading Plato and Aristotle and all these other things. The Indians are going to be like, no, who are you, white man, to say what being Indian is? But they can come to the UK, they can come to England and say what it means to be English, right? Um, so we recognize indigenous identities matter, right? Um, like I said, like if white people started to pretend to be native or Aboriginal, people would be freaking out, right? Africans are not Europeans and vice versa. A Nigerian is not Irish. A Congolese is not British, right? An Egyptian is not Polish, okay? And that's fine, and vice versa, right? But it's only seen bad, excluding Polish people from being considered Egyptian is fine. But excluding Egyptian people from being considered Polish is wrong. It's a double standard, okay? And I'm just saying, hey, let's treat white people equally, okay? It is morally wrong to erase white identity. Like this is just a fact. It's morally wrong to do it to non-white people, and therefore it's also morally wrong to do it to white people. Okay? Erasing our identity is erasing us. Erasing our history, changing our history, redefining us, that is changing us by definition. Okay? Erasing us, erasing our identity is erasing us because our identity is us. Okay? Saying a Nigerian is German erases the German identity. If anyone can be German, to be German means nothing, right? It justifies not seeing us because if anyone can be German, you can just listen to the German you want to listen to, right? And then they have the authority because you say that they're German, right? If a Nigerian comes in and you say, oh, yeah, that's a German person, they now have authority over the uh, definition of what it means to be German, which is insane because they're just going to continue to erase the German identity. Okay. It steals our authority and voice, like I was kind of saying. Like if a German claims to be Nigerian, they can now have the authority to change Nigerianism, what it means to be Nigerian, right? And then the native Nigerians are like, hey, where's our voice? Like, that's not what it means. Like, what about us? Okay, but they're ignored. They're actually, they're not ignored because they're Nigerian, right? If a German person came and said, hey, this is what it means to be a Nigerian, all the people would be freaking out. But if a Nigerian comes to Germany and says this is what it means to be German, everyone would applaud them. All right. So they can change and erase everything about being Nigerian, take down statues, rewrite history, promote and exclude certain beliefs and customs because they are Nigerian and they say so. Likewise, when people come into white countries and start claiming white identities, they start changing our history, they start taking down our statues, they promote and exclude certain beliefs and customs, right? You'll see anything like, oh, yeah. Anyways, so just some examples of like whites not being treated the same. Imagine these headlines like replace the word white with any other race. So having black children is perpetuating black supremacy. That would never make it. That would never fly. But because you can treat whites differently, it does fly. It is allowed, right? There is no such thing as black people. Can you imagine the outrage? Can you imagine? There is no black race. The invention of the black race. Why Jewish people you do not exist. Why Jewish people don't exist, right? Uh, Asian people do not exist. There's no such thing as Indian people, right? Can you imagine all these things if white people said them about non-whites? The unequal treatment is insane. Okay, so more examples. So BuzzFeed's Joe Bernstein can, advocate killing white men, which the tweet above shows, and he gets to keep his job. Can you imagine if they said kill a black man, kill a Jewish man? The outrage that would happen, right? And then on the right, the new Germans. Time to redefine what it means to be Deutsch. Exactly. Like, yeah. But if a white person goes to any non-white country and says, hey, this is actually, what we're redefining what it means to be you guys, right? The outrage would be immense, right? A German person went to Nigeria and said, hey, actually, like, we need to redefine what it means to be Nigerian. Crazy. Outrage would be insane. And then this last meme, you can look at, you can read, kind of gets the whole point of like these people who will accept, tolerate, and promote indigenous identities and indigenous traditions and culture, but as soon as a white person wants to do it, they're seen as a Nazi. So basically, all I'm asking is that we treat white people the same. And if you don't think white people are treated differently, you definitely need to expand your um, awareness, because it is happening. And the fact that you don't think it's happening is kind of proof. All right, peace out.